Hey everyone, it's Bryan here. I'm back from the mountains and I'm telling you what, had a great time, but I've got a question to answer for you that really kind of pertains to me and the cattle dog sitting over here next to me. The question came in from Sandy, and I appreciate you sending in, Sandy. And Sandy asked me, she said, "Hey Bryan, I have recently taken my dog hiking with me, and on both occasions, she limped for a few days afterward. I think it was just soreness, but how do you know when it's just soreness or when the injury, or if it's a possible injury, it needs to be seen by a vet?" Well, I think you answered your own question. If it's just soreness, it typically will only last about a couple of days. Most animals, when I take them hiking, most of my dogs, or even myself, I'm sore for a couple of days. Even right now, I kind of like to think of myself in pretty decent shape for my age. I work out every day. I do a lot of calisthenics. I jump rope. I row. I go on 5-mile walks, and we hike all the time. Every occasion I get, you'll find me up in the mountains somewhere. But that being said, right now I can feel a little tightness in my thighs and a little tightness in my calves, and I happen to notice cattle dog was limping a little bit as well. So how do you know when it's just soreness or when it's an injury? Well, a couple things. One of the things, and I'll just kind of refer this to my good old friends, my veterinarian friends there, but the things that they've taught me and the things I learned when I owned a vet hospital is, number one, look for any sort of signs of distress. There's a difference between this happy soreness that you feel when you've been working out. You kind of go, man, I feel good. I've been working out and that was a good hike and my legs are a little sore here. And then there's this, oh God, this is killing me. I'm hurting. I'm hurting for certain. You can tell, if you've owned your dog long enough, you can tell when they are distressed versus just sore. If you see them panting a lot, they can't get comfortable, that limp seems to become more pronounced with each passing day versus a little bit more of a progression towards normalcy. You can tell by yourself. Typically injuries don't take more than soreness doesn't take more than a few days to heal, but injuries certainly do. Also look at your dog's appetite. Captain, I'm telling you what, when I feed him, it takes all of about 30 seconds for him to eat. So I know for a fact that something's up if he's limping and he's not eating. When I add those two together along with a little bit of distressed behavior, I know for a fact that he's injured, and off to the vet I go. So outside of that, there's a couple things. I always tell people there's all different types of shape out there. There's running shape, there's weightlifting shape, there's basketball shape. There's regular, what I call easy to moderate trail hiking, and then there's difficult hiking. And that's what we just did for the last couple of days. These were really difficult trails. So I'm not going to be surprised if Captain is limping a little bit because he's moving awfully slow today. Like the rest of us, thank goodness I had a little bit of a drive back. What are some things you can do to prevent it? Number one, first of all, if your dog's a little heavy, if you do ask your vet a question, ask them the painful question. Is my dog fat? No one likes to ask that question. But I'm telling you what, it's one you definitely need to ask for reasons even outside of hiking. Number two, if your dog is fat, then drop some weight. Ask your veterinarian, what's a good recommended weight for this particular dog at this particular age? And then number two, start off easy. Don't take on the difficult rated trails to begin with. Take on the easy trails. There's no shame in that, no honor lost there, friend. I'm telling you what, none. Take it easy on your dog. Let them get in shape. Remember the difficult trail hiking shape. I get that they may run with you 5 miles a day, but there's a big difference. You runners out there who love to run and pride yourself. You got all those stickers on the back of your car, 13.1, 26.2. Again, I do that in a car. I don't do that on my feet. But if you do, try and do that on a treadmill on an incline of about 12. And see what kind of difference you'll have from that. You can also make sure your dog's hydrated. Anytime you're hiking, you need to be hydrated. If you're not hydrated, I learned from my military days, our group was one of the first ones to test out the heart rate sensors that are out there nowadays, the old chest straps that go around the strap. And I learned a whole lot there. When you sweat, you lose blood loss, the volume of blood loss. And when that happens, that causes that heart to pump a little bit harder. And so when that happens, you strain a little more, you work a little harder. And when that happens, you're digging in a little bit more than what you'd normally have to dig in. Same thing goes for your dog. So I talked about yesterday with altitude sickness, do the same. Make sure you're staying hydrated all the time. Make sure your dog's hydrated. Also, as another prevention, there's nothing wrong with giving your dog joint supplements. Give them joint supplements. There's tons of them out there on the market. It's a really good thing to give to your dog. Not going to work if you kind of give it the day before. You need to start on this probably about a good solid week to 2 weeks before you take your dog on those difficult trails. If your dog is sore for more than a few days and you take your dog in to see your veterinarian, a lot of them are going to prescribe, if there's not an injury, an anti-inflammatory. Nothing wrong with giving that to your dog as well. A little Rimadyl, a little Dermax, all those sort of things that definitely help your dog big time when it comes to getting over the soreness and healing up. Because even one thing that I've noticed personally with my dogs is that if they're sore, for example, Captain tends to get sore on his left wrist. His left wrist. I'm trying to put mine up here. And when he does that, he kind of puts a little bit more weight on his other 3 limbs. He limps a little bit more on the right side. Next thing you know, the left wrist is perfectly healed, and now he's gimping around on his right wrist. Keep an eye on that. Soreness can lead to an injury because the dog is just trying to compensate for that soreness. So, all of those kind of things, that's part of just going out into the wild. You go out there, you got to be ready for it. And when you come home, expect your dog to probably be a little sore. If you did, it was a good hike. It wouldn't prevent me from going hiking anymore, Sandy. I think you answered your own question. After a couple of days, if your dog is still limping, or before that point, if they're distressed, not eating, panting, you can tell. If you own your dog, you can tell. They're silent warriors. Dogs suffer in silence. That's going to be a topic of an entire video by itself. I love them for it, but I also kind of bothered by it. It's really difficult to tell if your dog's in pain. So I'm going to just put out there right now, when in doubt, get it checked out. Okay, guys, tomorrow I'm going to hop back on the reactive dog and the fearful and aggressive dog journey. Got a lot more stuff to show you regarding that. Just took a little bit of a break. The opportunity presented itself and to go to the mountains for just a couple of days, and I took it. And I definitely encourage you to do the same thing. When the opportunity presents itself to unwind, to do a little bit of have a little bit of an outlet for frustration, definitely seize it. Life is short here. So get out into the wild, take your dog with you, have a great time. And tomorrow, if you have any questions along the way, for next probably about 3 or 4 days is what I've got planned out. I'm going to spend a little bit more time on that reactive dog and the fearful and aggressive dog saga there and just keep that thing rolling. That's it, guys. I'm back, and I'm trying to get up here. Come on, cattle dog. Yeah, there he goes. Yeah, he got up a little bit easier than I did, so if anyone's sore, it's me. I'll check you guys out tomorrow. In the meantime, if you don't mind, share this video if you found it beneficial for you or you think it'd be beneficial for anyone else. And of course, like any other time, if you had any questions, send them to me. I'll be glad to answer them. Hey, Sandy, thank you for your input. Take care, guys.